Hello, Stephen Dean speaking. And I've just been thinking about that video I made about rescuing that drowning beetle. Now, that beetle isn't the only insect I've saved from water, usually from our bird baths, because we've got 3 or 4 bird baths, and there's always getting insects falling in them, and especially paper wasps, who occasionally, for reasons known only to them, try and walk on water. I mean, they're very light, smaller wasps. But sometimes they fall through, and when they fall through, they can't get out of the water. They become waterlogged, like they can't flap their wings because they need to push themselves up to take off, and they can't do that with their legs in the water. Anyway, they can't get out. So I pick up a leaf, I do, and I lift them out of the water. Now, I hadn't really given much thought to that until quite recently, when I remembered an incident that happened a couple of years ago. Now, around the side of our house, there's a small alcove where my wife and I like to sit. And one day we noticed that a group of paper wasps had began building a nest above her head where she sits. Now, this made her feel rather uncomfortable, you see, and I said, well, leave it to me, I'll see if I can do something about that. And not wishing to do them any harm or anything, when she went in, I just said to these wasps, I said, look, you're making my wife feel uncomfortable. Do you think you could take that nest and build it elsewhere, please? Now, of course, I was only messing about, but when I came out the next day, they appeared to have abandoned what they were doing there, and they were now making one above my head. There was no activity on the old one at all, and they were all doing their thing about 4 feet above me where I was sitting, or 4 or 5 feet or whatever. No, I don't mind that so much anyway. Like, you know, wasps are just wasps. You know, if they don't harm you if you don't harm them, you know. They just don't take any notice of you if you don't take any notice of them. Anyway, after a while, as the seasons went on, it became too warm to sit round there, so I moved round the back of the house where the sun isn't so intense. Well, after a while, about a week or so, the wasps did the same. They abandoned their nest round there, what they built over my head, and come and built another one over my head here. And they seem to like me. They come down from their nest and they look at me, and then they fly up again. And I thought, that's peculiar behaviour by these wasps. They seem to really like me. And anyway, I looked up this behaviour on the net, and a paper wasp expert said they're very intelligent creatures, and they don't forget people who do them wrong. You know, if anyone who causes them harm in any way, they do not forget, right? Well, by that token then, if they don't forget people who do them wrong, then why should they forget people who do them right, as in rescuing them from bird baths? Could that be why they seem so friendly inclined to me? Well, why not? Anyway, that was a couple of years ago. They haven't been round here since, but they were there all summer. A good summer, that one. Okay, lovely. I'll see you.